Hey guys, welcome to the auto review right here on ToyWorldOrder.com. Starring me, Devall, and my buddy Dave Draper. Whose feelings I just hurt?
Yes. Quote, yay, end quote.
I love you, you big lug, you.
You got fuzz on you. There you go. That's fuzz. That's difficult.
Cleaning Dave off of fuzz and crazy stuff.
I'm sure the puppet was in here just a minute ago.
Probably. Gang, we're back. We've got an all-new review. We're wrapping up our JoeCon 2015 exclusives. And the last thing we're going to take a look at is the biggest thing of the con. Was the biggest offering at the con, and the most expensive thing at the con.
I think this thing was, I want to say 180.
Yep. And that is none other than the bagged Tiger Hawk, which is just a remold of our
the Eagle Hawk.
Of the Eagle Hawk there, but a giant helicopter to wrap up the convention exclusives, and none of I don't think anyone's convention exclusive buying was complete until they had all the vehicles and everything, because that's kind of the cool thing every year is to get everything that they offer and release, because it ends up being a huge, you know, it all ties into the box set, which is
well, yeah. I mean, it's all one theme, one story. That's the convention program is a comic that tells the story of the stuff.
Yep. This year's convention comic was a little short.
Well, they're doing an extended version.
Yes. But this, of course,
was short because they didn't get it done.
I know.
Well, they didn't get it to Atkins, who was drawing it, until too late.
Yes, noted illustrator Robert Atkins.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure he did yeoman's work trying to get that thing done in time.
Yes, he did. But of course, the vehicle comes all completely disassembled, which Dave and I are going to put together before we take a closer look at it. But completely disassembled, the blades and everything, much like it would have been when you bought it at retail. So Dave and I are going to put this bad boy together, and we're going to take a close-up look at it. So let's do that. All right, the Tiger Hawk. This thing is, I mean, anyone that's familiar with this vehicle already, because we just recently got this vehicle at retail within the last year.
For Retaliation.
Yep. And it is a giant helicopter.
It's a modern toy that is fairly true to the vintage vehicle. I mean, especially in terms of size.
Yes, although it does add extra seats.
No,
right?
I don't think there are extra seats.
No.
I think that's the same number of seats.
Great vehicle though.
They're in different positions, but the same number.
Gotcha.
I believe.
Gotcha.
Someone will write in on the comments. No, there's one extra seat.
Great, you know, both rotor blades here spin freely, so you can spin one and then spin the other. So you've got the dual blades there going.
Yeah.
The blades also can
they can swing. So if you need to put it in like in a corner.
Yep, you can basically swing all the blades so they.
So that you can more easily.
And even those swung, they still turn pretty well.
Well, they still turn, yeah, because it's a separate thing.
You've got this back rotor here that actually can does the blade inside does spin.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
It's all fairly true to the vintage vehicle.
Yep.
And this was not the vintage Tomahawk. There was no Tiger Hawk back in the day.
Right.
They did the Dragonfly instead.
They did the Dragonfly, yes. But some great things like the missiles here that can be popped off, like so, with the classic G.I. Joe pegs there.
Yep.
The missile pegs that you just basically snap those in. Same with the small ones here.
The bombs.
The bombs can pop off there, and you just simply pop those back.
And I like in the modern version, the original Tomahawk, these little side wings had little tabs, and you kind of slid them in, and they were very thin, small tabs, and they broke easily. These new ones, they just pop in.
Yeah, they just pop in, which is nice. Yeah,
and the back fins too were the same.
Yeah, and of course there's two guns. There's two machine guns here.
And of course, famously, I believe a version of Roadblock for Retaliation came with a gun that you could swap out. That's why that's not attached to the guns are not attached.
Right,
to
you could swap out the guns and put bigger guns on the other side.
And you still could with this one. That's
right. You've also got the top part here that
the engines open up, which was one of my favorite features of all the old G.I. Joe vehicles was being able to
open that. So
get into the engines and work on them.
So you can open up the sides here and get into the exhausts here, which just snap in, so you can get to all the engine parts there, and then you just simply close that sucker back up like so, and it snaps into place. So that goes back. The front canopy here.
I think that's a little less opaque opaque. It's a little easier to see through this one than I think the Eagle Hawk.
Yes.
The Eagle Hawk had a very dark blue.
Yeah, it had very dark blue. The control sticks in here actually do swivel; they move.
Yep.
So you can swivel
Again,
those.
true to the
vintage. Yep. And there's a nice display, nice control panel display in there as well, and some seats. So you can fit 2 characters in there. You can fit 4 characters in the spots here.
There's a jump seat behind the pilots.
Yep. There's a jump seat, so there's more pegs that you can put the characters in. There's actually the
ramp closing.
There's
where are you?
Ramp that opens up in the back that you actually has 2 pegs you can put figures on. Yep. So there's that there. So you've got that. You've got the wheels here that roll.
Yep.
And then you've got this winch system down here that you can actually pull down in order to bring a Joe back up.
Yeah, that's
one here.
One area where I think it's slightly inferior to the vintage is the vintage had a little knob on the bottom.
Yeah.
Which was fairly inconspicuous. This one has a giant wheel on the side.
Yeah, which...
Yeah, that one I give the edge to the vintage.
Brings that winch up. And then also on the bottom is this rotating machine gun here.
Like a Vulcan.
Yeah, big old Vulcan rotating gun there.
And there's a camera next to it.
There's a camera next to it right here, which is cool. So yeah, I mean, overall, the Tiger Hawk here is an amazing vehicle. One, of course, like I said, we've seen all these vehicles before, but a nice addition to the convention exclusives. And the reason why this year's exclusives were so expensive was because of this giant
this was like
$180,
I believe. So that right there, you take that out of the thing, and you're kind of at like $420
for all the other exclusives.
Yeah, and that's much closer to the way it was last year.
Right. And then, of course, the Tiger Hawk also includes these these 4
headsets.
Yep, these 4 little
again, because I don't think that's going to fit. I don't think those are going to fit on Sky Striker.
No, they will not fit on Sky Striker, but they'll fit on your crew.
They'll fit on your crew, but what I'm saying is it was designed for the original. Again, it's one of those accessories that was like when the boat that we did, the Tiger Shark.
Right.
It seems like it's an accessory that was designed for the original toy that they kind of included, even though it doesn't necessarily fit or work.
Right.
And I remember 2 sets of headsets on the Eagle Hawk. It seems like we have, I don't know, we got 4 for this one, which seems like they went a little crazy with the headsets, a little crazy generous with
That's where all the money came from.
I know.
That's why they were so expensive.
I know, right? It's like, come on, Savage.
We don't need 4 headsets.
We just what are you getting crazy with the headsets for us?
But a great beat, and again, the design of the Tiger Force vehicles this year for the club exclusives, all of them, again, going back to the fact that none of these details are stickers. These are all paint masks that the factory had to do for all of these figures, from the modern G.I. Joe symbol to the eyes, to the mouth, to the Tiger Force symbol back here on the back. The stripes, everything is paint masks on this amazing vehicle, and it's so well done, and it's really nice.
Like Savage was quoted as saying, this ain't Night Force.
Right, this is not Night Force. So Night Force was a little cheaper because it was,
it was black.
It was black, and they didn't have to do a whole lot. But this has a lot of decos to it and a lot of details. And I always loved. I never had this vehicle when I was a kid. I always loved the double rotor blades. I always thought that was cool.
This is one of my favorites as a kid.
This
the Tomahawk.
Yeah, this, of course, the plastic isn't.
A little rubberier.
It's a little rubberier
because kind of wobbly.
Well, in the vintage one, they were hard plastic, and eventually they'd all droop.
Yes.
Because they were so heavy, because they were such heavy plastic. So trying to find a vintage one of these that the blades aren't warped is tough to do. These at least are warped on purpose because they're soft plastic, and they won't lose this shape over time.
So they'll always look wobbly. Yeah.
They will always look wobbly, but understandably, yeah.
I get you.
But I love that. Great vehicle, though. Very, very cool last little look at our JoeCon exclusives for this year. But there you go, guys. That's going to wrap up Dave and I's look at the convention exclusives from this year's JoeCon 2015.
Yay!
We'll be back real soon with some all-new reviews. Dave and I will be, as well as the puppet. And then on August 1st of this year of 2015 is when all the new G.I. Joe products starts hitting Toys R Us.
Oh, yeah.
And we will have looks at all of that as soon as that stuff hits retail, possibly.
Well, are you buying it all?
Oh, I don't know. I just figured you were going to buy it.
Well, yeah, we'll have looks at what I get. Let me put it that way. No promises.
Yes. But, gang, make sure you check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/ToyWorldOrder. Hit the subscribe button, mash the like button. Helps us out tremendously. Make sure you check us out on ToyWorldOrder.com. Check out all of our podcasts, David Devall Toys and Collectibles, Married to the Collection, and so much more going on ToyWorldOrder.com. So check that out. And, gang, until next time,
keep playing with your toys.
Take care, guys. We'll see you soon.